So basically, I think I said this in one of my first videos where I was telling y'all that there isn't 10 billion people in the world. There isn't. And it's very hard to fathom that shit if you have a peanut or a grain of rice for a fucking imagination. But it just, to me, it just doesn't, it can't be 10 billion people in the world right now. Okay? And there can be 10 billion objects maneuvering around that you call abiotic, or that you call biotic or abiotic. I can't remember which one is which. But living, so-called, they could be walking around and shit, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they know that they exist. Now you're like, how? How? I mean, who actually can tell who exists? I don't think y'all feeling that one. Who can tell who exists? Because I'm going to admit myself, let's step back from the world so I don't look like I'm some fucking, whatever, prophet sent from outer space or some shit, whatever the fuck people be doing these days with their little shit. I'm going to just talk about myself and then let it flow out that way. I realized that I existed I kind of got it when I was about 16, 17, but it really hit me that I actually exist when I was about 19 years old. I realized, I'm existing. Okay? Then came the want to search for more, because it felt like I was given some type of gift. It wasn't necessarily about life or being in a physical body. It just seemed like I was nothing before. So when you get to that knowledge and you start learning about spirituality and stuff, then it ends at the soul, basically. It stops right there at the soul, source, creation. And there's nothing. There's nothing there. So for all of us to be here in this vast amount of creation, you gotta understand that this was a flux of a mess. This is still the chaos. And I know we've been taught by a lot of these people that the chaos is only possessed by certain people and stuff like that. But I think there's other realms of melanin. I think there's other realms that it's tapping into and it's working even if people can't access it. That doesn't mean that they aren't made up of melanin. They still are made up of melanin. That doesn't, just because they can't access it and control it, it's because they weren't given that gift, because they are not mature enough, I will say. That's why they look more and more pale. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that they are whatever you want to call it, degenerate. Is that's what they are at that moment. It's just a week from the shaft. Period. But they can't function on that type of level. If you have ever seen any Michael Jackson or Usher, who else? I think there's some in what's his name? Dougie Fresh and the other guy. MC Hammer, Dougie Fresh, Usher, Michael Jackson, and the other dude. Who's this dude? The mashed potatoes on my good foot. Something like that. Damn, James Brown. Oh man, y'all gonna kill me. I can't remember James Brown. But anyway, James Brown. Will you have these white people in the crowd, and they keep on passing the fuck out? Like nobody caught that though. When I was little, I used to be like, yo man, these motherfuckers got some power. Well, I'm sitting there looking at the jaw, and they just up there singing and doing the thing. You know, you standing up trying to do the same thing, kicking your foot and jumping around in the room and stuff like that, playing with your brother and sister and your cousins and aunts and uncles and shit, and everybody having a good time. But when I actually got to by myself and started looking at it and paying attention to the crowd, rewinding it, you know, I had my own time. I could sit down and look at stuff. People were passing out and getting sent to the hospital. Majority of these people were white or very low on melanin. Okay, so when they got hit with that shit, I think that was really the Holy Ghost. That's what I think the Holy Ghost truly is. I don't think the Holy Ghost is something that saves your life and delivers you from demons. I think the Holy Ghost is something that gets put out into a certain frequency, and when it hits the person, it gives them some type of an awakening. And that could be death too, and unconsciousness, because the soul is the unconscious. Okay, the mind, the unconscious mind, that's melanin. It's the unconscious. It doesn't mean that it has no conscious. It's just unconscious. Sometimes you have to be unconscious to be conscious. It's just like a cup. You gotta dump the cup out or drink it to fill the shit back up. Simple and plain. You can't have a cup of water and just walk around and hold the shit with the jug and think that you're gonna pour another cup. You have to empty that out. Then when you urine, it takes out the toxins and you know the rest of that shit. Seeping into the ground, eating, dispersing back up. Okay, so just things you gotta think about. Some people are not able to go back into nothing. And this is another thing I wanted to give y'all so that y'all can better understand this program. Because it's hard, and I apologize to everybody for clocking shit up in the head, because I controlled my panic, and I just was able to maneuver it out into the world. Because I fought very hard to accept it. And I succeeded. And it was kind of easy, I'm not going to lie, because I've been thinking certain things for most of my life, and I thought I was tripping at first, so it wasn't that hard for me to get back. I just had to realize, like, oh, damn, I wasn't tripping. And that was kind of easy. But then I know that when I gave it to y'all at first, for some people, it was like, whoa, man, I know shit just was like, whoa, like, what the fuck? So now I want to slow it down a little bit so that you can better handle the program and know how it operates. I don't want you to just pick up your computer and throw the shit out the goddamn window. You know what I'm saying? Learn how the motherfucker operates. It's like some people can't go back to nothing because they're too programmed. So they have to keep pulling up stuff. They click on it and they pull it up and they go back into the shit. They can't go back to nothing. It's like you can't. They have already been this. You know, it's like everything that the white person is doing, we're supposed to be analyzing it and studying. These aliens that they're talking about, we're doing an experiment on people. You're going to have to accept that this is you. You're the alien that they're talking about. It's just that there's one key thing here. You're not an alien. There's no such thing as a goddamn alien. Anything that is inside of this universe belongs to this universe. Point blank. This is the universe of all existence. If there's another universe, this one was first. That's a guarantee. This is the original place.